Bakithi Kumalo.
Welcome to episode 57 of the Bass Shed Podcast. My name is Ryan Roberts. All right, welcome, folks. On the show is Bakithi Kumalo. Bakithi is a touring and session bassist, most notably his work with Paul Simon on Paul Simon's Graceland album. When he moved from South Africa to the States, that was kind of his big breakout session. Then he toured with Paul for a while. He'll talk about working with Paul in that move. He'll talk about his upbringing in South Africa. After coming to the States, Bakithi then went on to work with Joan Baez, Cyndi Lauper, Herbie Hancock, Tedeschi Trucks Band, Randy Brecker, Grover Washington Jr., Mickey Hart, and more. He'll talk about all that. And he'll talk about how he got introduced to the fretless bass. He has a really strong presence on the fretless bass, and he'll talk about that. I love that story, actually. He'll talk about his upbringing, as I mentioned, and he'll talk about a lot more. He will also talk about his new record, which is titled "What You See Is What You Hear," and where a lot of that music comes from, and kind of the nature of that record. TrickfishAmps.com. I had been playing their single channel preamp, the Minnow. I am now playing their dual channel preamp and AB box, the Trilobite, which I absolutely love. I've been doing a lot of gigs and traveling where I have to do, where I'm playing upright and electric. I have a lot of quick changeovers, and having the Trilobite there, just click on the button, boom, the sound's dialed in. It's got two different gain structures. I'll be talking more about that. I should probably shoot a video or something explaining the Trilobite a little bit more, but I absolutely love it. TrickfishAmps.com. Trickfish is also now manufacturing Mike Pope's FlexCore preamps. So stop by TrickfishAmps.com. Use the promo code TheBassShed for 10% off. LemurMusic.com. Everything you need for the double bass can be found at LemurMusic.com. Stop by their new website. Check out what they're up to. I spoke with Tammy Jo, the owner of Lemur, about a week ago, and she was telling me that they're doing this thing where they're making bass bibs, practice bibs for the upright bass, and percentage of the proceeds goes to help children with autism, I believe, if I remember that correctly. What I love about Lemur is they're always really involved with all these other things, and having music be a part of all these, kind of humanitarian programs and things that's going on in the world. I absolutely love that about that company. Stop by LemurMusic.com. All right, as I mentioned, Bakithi Kumalo is on the podcast this episode, and I had taken a little break from doing the podcast because I was recording a record. I recorded my own record, and that took a lot of time. Mainly because I decided to do the record, called the cats, kind of lined up the date, and then it was like, oh, I should probably write some more tunes. Yeah, so everything on the record is something I wrote, with the exception of a tune called "Smile" by Charlie Chaplin. I don't know, for those jazzers out there, Charlie Chaplin wrote one tune. Tune's called "Smile." Nat King Cole did a really popular version of it. I wrote an arrangement of it that is nothing like Nat King Cole's. My arrangement happens to be in 13/8. And kind of dark, actually. I mean, it's kind of a dark arrangement of the tune. And the reason it's in a dark arrangement of the tune is because there's this mural in Venice, and anybody can look this up. If you just Google Charlie Chaplin "Smile" mural, it'll probably come up. Right down the street from where I live, and it's a picture of Charlie Chaplin, and then it's just the word "Smile" on the side of this building. But in the picture, Charlie Chaplin is not smiling, and I found that really fascinating. And so that's why the arrangement is dark. I don't have an excuse for it being in 13/8. That's just kind of the bass line that came out when I started playing. But I was thinking through some ideas, and 13/8 just kind of happened, and 13/8 just kind of happened. I don't know what else to say about that. But that's that. I'll be talking more about the record as I get closer to releasing it. Getting back to records and the podcast, Bakithi Kumalo has a new record out called "What You See Is What You Hear." I have a link to his Spotify channel at thebasshed.com/Bakithi Kumalo. Definitely check out the record. I loved listening to the record, and we talk about the record. What I loved about the record that Bakithi and I will talk about is it's not a chops record. You know what I mean? Like I love bass records that are just like vibes, and grooves, and bass players playing like bass players, and not frustrated guitar players. Although, as I say that, I'm thinking about a couple specific bass records. And I own those records too, so whatever. I still bought them and I still listen to them. But my favorite bass records are bass players sounding like bass players and playing the bass. Bakithi does an amazing job of that, and has for a long, long time. He's an absolutely inspirational bass player. If you have not checked him out, please do. He's on a ton of recordings. Definitely check out his own recordings. He's got several out. This is just the newest one. We recorded this interview just a few days before the release. I believe it was released October 22nd. So it is out now, and you can find it on all the places to find music. I had an absolutely great time talking with Bakithi, and here it is. Here's my discussion with bass player Bakithi Kumalo. All right. Good morning. It's morning for me. You're on the East Coast. I know that much. Where on the East Coast are you?
Where are you in the Cali?
Yeah, I'm in Venice, California.
Yeah. I just came back from California. I'm kind of jet lagged in a way.
I know you were playing at vibrato, right?
Playing at the vibrato, and then I was playing at the Grand Annex.
Okay.
And I'm just so proud of California, man. They love me because I had such an amazing crowd, and the place welcomed me very well. But
Great.
then I got my 2 shows canceled, one in New York and one in Philadelphia. And I can understand maybe those big cities, they're kind of struggling, especially the venues to sell food and alcohol and bring people. And then we're still in the middle of the pandemic.
Right. Were they cancellations because of COVID?
Well, they canceled it because of the lack of ticket sales.
I see.
People did, and of course they gave me like Sunday, especially in New York, they gave me Sunday night.
Mm-hmm.
And it's always hard to get people, especially as coming as a new artist. If I was John Legend, probably.
Well, sure.
For an example, Paul Simon, people, they'll show up.
Right.
Monday morning they'll show up. But
yeah, exactly. Monday morning at 5 a.m. they'll show up for Paul Simon. Are you still playing with Paul?
Listen, the last time I played with him is when it's when we finished the final tour, and then we got hit with the pandemic, and then stay home, and then of course him and his family, they just moving from one place to another.
Sure.
A regular person like me, I come home, my house is empty, so I have to move on to a different state.
Yeah.
Not really real life, but
yeah,
nice. But the real life is when you're with the family.
Sure. Are you a family man?
Huh?
Are you a family man? Do you have a family?
And then I'm a grandfather, and the grandfather number 2 now. My son is.
Oh, congratulations!
Yes, thank you, sir. My son is gonna have. He has a daughter who's older, and then son.
Okay.
2 daughters finished college, and then they moved on, and they moved out. So I really love family. I didn't grow up with a family because I grew up in the township musicians and just trusted them too. Because I just didn't know the people. I just wanted to play music and the family, and the musicians were like my family. And then some of them, they were crazy. They were walking around with a knife.
Yeah. There's so many musician and family jokes there. I don't even know where to start.
Yeah, man. But it was about really growing. But now when I came here, met my wife, we got married, and we got 2 daughters, and so I kind of learned a new life, which is I'm loving it very much.
Fantastic. I love that. You got a new record coming out. I definitely want to talk about this and spend a lot of time talking about this. The new record is What You See Is What You Hear. I was listening to it this morning. Your assistant had sent it over. Fantastic stuff, man. And I always like bass records done by bass players that aren't overly bass heavy. Like there's just a lot of moods. You know, you're just kind of just going through just moods and feels with a bunch of great playing, you know, by everybody on the record.
Depends, because it's not all of the bass players like that. You know, some bass players, they think like it's a bass record. I have to showcase chops,
Right.
showcase, all kinds of stuff. But for me, because being a session musicians back in the day and work from South Africa with the traditional to come to America and work, with American music, and then also using my rhythmic from South Africa.
Yeah.
My music, it represents everything that I've learned from, other people, working with other people, and the discipline of being a bass player when you're in the studio.
Mm-hmm.
Long song, what do you have to look for when you play 5 minutes long song? It's not about for my bass part to make sure that I'm happy with my part, not understanding the other people what they're playing.
Right.
For me, it's like a teamwork. You play.
Absolutely.
Everybody's got to have the ball.
Yeah. No, I love that. And I think that more bass player band leaders, solo artists should. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I think that should be, kind of brought to the forefront just as much as the chops thing. Maybe if not more than the chops, because that's the nature of playing the bass.
That's how we learn. That's how I learn, by listening to the greatest bass players, how they deliver the song.
Yeah.
How they play with, they created a lot of foundation for us that, we don't have to work so hard. We just have to focus on that and listen and keep the legacy going, because I don't know.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Who are those early influences for you? I'm sure that they're, some of the same folks that have influenced us all.
Well, first of all, it's like I would say, I started from South Africa. All the generations of bass players that they really got information from the international back in the day because of traveling to Europe and US. South African bass players. But then the radio station and they did us a favor to play American music. So we hear the real good bass and good music from the States, because that's what the radio station was controlled by the government.
Ah, okay.
We'll play, the music from Europe, from America, because they're paying the bills.
Right.
Station going, but to lock down the local people. Local people were not really supported. They said their music was embarrassing, but their music was also being sold to, without people knowing. Because I remember I recorded an album when I was 14 years old, and then they told me my music was not selling, and so that's it, bye-bye. And then I was famous in Zimbabwe, and I'm like, what the hell in the world? My song, radio, they playing my song, and I'm like, but my record company told me. But it was a game that the record label is doing, because they steal the money, they take the money from musicians.
Right. Okay.
With you, they're gonna make you look good, like borrow you a dog in the car, and then get you drugs and get high, and then you die overdose, and then where's your royalties going? It's the same old school.
Sure. So that was your first record when you were 14?
14 years old, man.
Wow.
Recording bass and singing the song as well as I'm playing the bass, because I got a groove and simple bass line, 1-4-1-5, doom doom.
Right.
And then the Zulu.
Yeah. So you're playing and singing at the same time, or did you do an overdub thing?
Oh, overdub. There's no time for overdub, because then
too much time. But time is money.
Yeah. You can't make a mistake. They put the thing, the red light. It says, when it says green, that means go. When it says red,
and then red is stop.
Green, you look at the green as you're playing, like, oh God, please, you praise.
Yeah. Oh, that's great, man. So where were you getting these kind of early influences when you're writing music at 14 years old? Now I know you started playing young. You started playing with your uncle when you were around 7, correct?
Yeah. From there, my uncle was like a person to look after because he was playing saxophone all the time, and then weekends he brings his friends and they play at home, they drink, and but man, I stay with him.
Yeah.
Sometimes he takes me to his wedding gigs and just give me a lot of rules. Do not leave my side. You stay here. Don't finish the gig because you get lost, and when you get lost, that's it. You're gone. But and then I stay with my uncle, and then but there was some very very interesting things because during that time where the system was brutal to people, but there was a beauty. There was like these cultures passing by the streets and singing their language, and for me, it was like bass lines being given to me.
Mm.
All being sang by the a cappella groups people.
Mm-hmm.
And I will sing those bass line with a piece of cardboard before I, put the bass in my hands.
Yeah.
The cardboard's like a bass. It looks like a bass, but I'm singing the bass line while they're singing, and
Yeah.
then try to find the fingering. And then when I get the bass, I have to look for the fingering because it's a whole different thing now with the strings and.
Right. The tuning and all that. Yeah.
But that really set me up to say, look, you got this. Stay with it every day. Love to see these people and hear these people and
Yeah.
play. So that's when I started to, move away from my home to go to the township, some part of the township where they have music.
Okay.
Out with the cats and some of them I get them out of work. I remember one guy got fired. He came back because he had a day job. So he shows
Yeah.
up at night, First he was like kind of angry at me with that I was, playing all day. I don't have a job. I'm a kid.
Yeah. It's when you have time to do that.
No school, nothing. So basis is school. So man, the guy got mad. He was kind of bad, and then too he couldn't play well. For me, I learned all the songs. So the manager said to the guy, "No, I don't think you need to come back anymore. This kid is gonna stay with us. So you're done. You're done in the
Now, how old were you when you took this guy's job?
hotel now."
You were 10?
I was about 10, and because guys got my back, the manager, like, hey, look, he's not gonna do anything. We're gonna
Yeah.
find you good because you're here every day, you can practice, and the bass was so bad, the action was like this high.
Sure.
But I just loved it. And then, weekend we play in front of people and girls love it. And then I said, man, I got this.
Done and done. That's how that works. So then what is the music that was being played around the township? Was it a lot of just South African traditional stuff? Was there a lot of American music that you were hearing?
Sometimes you hear like, American song, like, maybe 2 hours and then that's it.
Okay.
We'll play like, a local, not the people from the township radio station. They play, whatever they can play, but not our local music.
Hmm.
But the music from the States was playing quite often, like Temptations.
Sure.
Because those artists, they used to come to South Africa and perform. So it's very important for the radio station to play this music for us to know so we
Right.
can go.
So you buy the tickets, yeah.
And then we'll buy it. Sometimes I don't have the money to buy the ticket. I go and meet the musicians and tell them I'm a musician. And then some guys, they put us in there. One time we went to see Chick Corea.
Okay. What year was this? Roughly.
I think it was probably like 1980 or something.
Okay.
Before the Graceland. Now I was a little bit older and then, learning Spain and playing, really American music like Edwin and Fire, George Benson, just.
Right.
Yeah. Commercial stuff because really American, maybe like once a year or twice a year. But most of the time we're Americans because we're playing that music without speaking the language.
Right. So now there's a definite on this new record, there's definitely a heavy jazz influence. Where does that come from in your personal life? Have you studied jazz? Is it about did it come from playing with other jazz musicians that you just kind of absorbed it or listening to records?
It's said, in South Africa, we were given everything, pretty much.
Okay.
Up to the ear, if you are local people, you don't understand jazz, then you stay away from it.
Yeah.
Like me, I was like, what? I remember one time I took the bass and I tried to play like Ron Carter.
Hmm.
These notes are moving, and I'm like, I play three notes and then I put the bass down. I'm like, oh, this because I
Yeah. That's what I do when I try to sound like Ron Carter too. Just put the bass down. I can't sound like Ron Carter's amazing.
also it's like you need to know the chords.
Yeah.
Then you can work on the minor or major or whatever the chords is.
Sure.
No, I thought, man, wow, the bass is moving. He's not playing on one note.
Right.
Then I put it down. But there was so much music, and my uncle too. He used to bring like Charles Mingus and
Okay.
Duke Ellington's records, big band, because he used to play with the big band, weekend
Okay.
trumpets and all kinds of stuff. So they would play that music. But for me, it was about, hey, play everything, anything.
Yeah. Just absorb what you can all the time.
And then if the jazz gig open up, there's no jazz bass player, I can come in and rehearse a day and learn the songs and go play the gig.
Okay.
I didn't really limit myself.
Yeah.
I knew that, you know what, it's a distance. As I'm growing, I got to learn more stuff. Even still today, I'm here. I learn every day. I get a call to work with Herbie Hancock, and I played on his record, jazz. And it's like, hey, look, it's written, so I'm gonna play what's written, and then just have my feel because that's what they're looking for.
Right. Right.
Randy Brecker record, and then I had to travel to Brazil to work with the Brazilian people, and I mean,
Okay.
but for me, it's all about the communication and the dialogue and learning. All these things we put together.
Yeah. Yeah. What Herbie record was that?
Played on the album called Gershwin's World.
What was it called?
Like
Oh,
Jack
Gershwin. Yeah.
World, and with Chicoria, Stevie Wonder, James Moody, and my name is right there.
Nice. That's an impressive cast all the way around, yourself included. That's amazing. Uh, but how many were they all in the studio with you? Did you guys cut that record live?
Here's the thing. Yes, some the songs that I played, yeah, it was all live. Now I show up in the studio very early than everybody. They told me the session, we show up at 10, but I was there at 8.
Oh wow.
Recording with Herbie Hancock. I want to make sure that everything goes well.
Of
And
course.
place in the studio where I'm gonna set up, to hide away from Herbie because I didn't want to see him. I want to hear him.
Yeah.
Never I see them playing with Herbie. It's a big deal.
Yeah.
So I set up far away, and then Herbie walks into a room and meet everybody. And then he asks, "Where's the bass player set up at?" They're like, "Oh, he's over there, the corner." He says, "No, no, 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 no. He needs to come back here." And then he called me, "Come back here. Sit right in front of the piano. The piano is open like this,
Yeah.
and it's on this side. And I'm reading the chart and I'm playing the fretless, and man, it was great. It was great. I mean, I knew the song, but I was just so like, really, I can't believe this is happening.
Yeah.
Now I'm playing with Herbie Hancock in the studio.
Yeah.
I think I made it here,
Yeah.
George Groban, Cyndi Lauper, Gloria Stefan, now I played on the Disney movie, like I feel like this is it, this is my stop where I can just create and then be a music mentors for the next generations. And also the kids that they learn the fretless because of the bracelet.
Yeah.
So I talk to those kids and say, hey, call me.
Yeah.
What you need to know about the fretless, let's do it.
Yeah. What a couple things actually. Did playing on Graceland open up a lot of the opportunities to go on and do sessions and work with all the other artists, including Herbie? Did that all come from Paul Simon's record?
The world, my friend.
Yeah.
Because playing on the Graceland, I had no idea that this thing is going to be a monster. When we started the rehearsal, I think it was 1986, we started the rehearsal, and it was so huge, tall buses, hotels. I mean, like it was like Hey, I'm not going back to the township.
Right, right. That's completely understandable.
My people, I'm gonna take this opportunity, And being in a place and there's so many people and you're nervous and you want to be good, but you don't want to overdo it.
Sure.
It things, a lot of anxiety, and missing home and driving
Yeah,
musicians, but I had to adjust to it. But for me, it was about play what you played on the record and spend time with that.
yeah.
Not do talking, all that stuff. And then I did that. Practice all the stuff from the record because I know people expect it. Like when we play shows, people they look at me like, "Is this the bass player?"
Yeah.
They're pointing at me like, "Is that one? Call me out," And when I play, they call me out, not even paying attention. They just. But that record, Paul. I mean, it changed my life. He changed my life. He saved me from hell. Even though he had a problem in South Africa because he came the right timing where we needed help.
Hmm.
But then it was about the system or this organization. They don't play music first of all, but they're gonna tell musicians what to do. You can work with this one. You can work with that one. For me, it was like, no, hell no, man. You're not there when I'm practicing and struggling my way up there. So I'm taking this, whether you like it or not.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's great, man.
That's when I even end up deciding not to live in South Africa because now they know they see me, I do well. So I'm gonna stay here because also too, Paul is now things are running for him, is getting all these shows, and
Yeah,
he because I played on the record. No other bass player could have come in and just duplicate what I've done.
yeah.
Because special, it was special. The sound was special. Everything, the moment was special. My playing was special. So I just stayed and I followed my instinct, man, and that saved my life.
That's great. And then when you're teaching the younger generation, is that a big part of your input to younger musicians? Is just to encourage them to stick with their intuition about a career path? Or do you recommend a school? Do you recommend what are some things you did, give to the younger generation that regularly in teaching?
When I work with the young people, then to my children, because I learn from them how to be consistent,
Yeah.
how to be stay focused. What you stay with it.
Yeah.
And what's your tone, how you talk to them, because you can't be yelling because they didn't do so much thing. You kind of break it down for them and say, hey, look, why you didn't do this, but this is going to cost you because now you're going to have more time. You should be doing some other things. Just make sure that they understand that part.
Sure.
For me to take this outside to the next generations and musicians, not just bass players, but any instrument.
Yeah.
I tell the kids my story, how I learned music without having the instrument, how struggle. I talk
Yeah.
about that, like kids come from the third world countries, they don't have that. They don't
Yeah.
even, so they don't know what the hell is music store because
Yeah.
in the city is for the people with money. But my story to them is to say, listen, I did it without going to school. I did it because I was thinking, I want to do this. So when you want to play music, you have to be honest to yourself and the instrument. Because when you do that, then you're going to become partners and you're going to become a businessman or business lady, or you're going to becoming a scientist because it's not just playing, it's about understanding what you're playing.
Yeah.
You can take this instrument apart, you can put it together, and then you can try to create yours since you grow. So I think that you got a long way to grow. So
Yeah.
at age, you should be a builder. You should be playing. You should be producing music. You should be doing what I'm doing,
Right.
teaching
Mm-hmm.
for you, and kids they get it, man. Like I started this thing in Long Island with the East End Arts. The East End Arts, they send newsletters to the kids to say, hey, look, who wants to hang out with Mr. Kumalo? He's the bass player from the Paul Simon Graceland album. And they know I'm not a music teacher, but I can break it down to them. And then,
Yeah.
to really navigate this without any fear and
Yeah.
say, yeah, when you come here, talk to me. You have a problem with the song. Let's sit down and I'm gonna, break it down for you, and then just go for it. And these kids, I divide them. Like you play drums with this band, this one, that one, because they come from different schools. They don't know each other.
Right.
My camp, man, they start loving it. And also sometimes I come in late so that to see if they're working together. Yeah, they helping.
Right. If they just naturally kind of find each other musically and personally and all that.
So free. Sometimes they challenge me. Like I remember one kid came with a 7-string bass and he says, "Yeah, Mr. Kumalo, I want to show you something." I said, "Show me." I was a little nervous. He says, and then he start tapping, and I'm like, "What? This is awesome." And I said, "Wow, you planned this." And I said, "Okay, I like what you're doing. Let's put that in a set when we play the show." Because about music mentors, I work with the kids for 7 weeks. Just teach them how to practice songs so we can move fast and in 16 songs. And once they learn these songs, so we can do a show, maybe raise funds for their own thing, like they don't have money to buy books or mom, they're like struggling. So I'll find the gigs. I'm gonna call the places where I play and say, "Hey, I got my kids. I want 3 o'clock to 6. Give them a break, play. Let's raise money for the diabetes, for all kinds of stuff."
Oh, that's great. I love that.
Something, let's help something.
Very
So
cool.
music mentors is about that, and of course now my kids they're teaching like special needs kids, and they're teaching art. They're using music
Yeah.
because music, hey, there's nowhere to go.
Yeah. I think that's fantastic. At what point in your career did you make the shift to the fretless bass? Because like you're kind of, I think, regarded as one of the top fretless players, and that's a big part of your sound. And how I'm used to thinking of you and hearing you is, I think of fretless a lot. When did you make that leap in your career?
It was not my choice. I was forced.
All right. I love it. So it wasn't a leap. It's just kind of someone made you do it. It was put on you.
Because here's my story I tell all the time. Like, when I don't have an instrument at home to practice, right? Mm-hmm. I'm playing for this manager. He has his equipment at home. So when we finish, you go without the bass because he said you might sell the bass and not show up.
Right.
Anything can happen. So then I go to the music stores, and now I have a gig. I gotta practice at least a decent bass. So I go to the music stores, and then I play the bass a couple of times. The first time they see me, they pass by. They never talk to me. Then, like every time, it's becoming a habit. Now every time it's like, "Oh, music store it's good. As long as I have a pass money, I can make it to the music store and practice, and then come home after."
Okay.
Couple of times until the guy from the store, he noticed. He said, "Yeah, I see you. You come here all the time. You're playing all these basses, but you never buy anything, and then you walk out with nothing. What's wrong with this picture?"
Mm-hmm.
And, I have a gig, and I'm a bass player, and I don't have an instrument at home. But I like to check out this bass so that when I get the money, I'll buy. I said, "That's been a long time you come here. You never buy."
Yeah. Right.
Like to play, go play that bass that's been sitting there fretless. It was sitting there by the door. And I always pass it because I'm like, what the hell is this?
Yeah.
Then I go play the fretless because I can see where I'm going.
Sure.
Yes. So, man, the guy says, "No, play fretless." And I play fretless, and it sounded so terrible. I was out of tune like crazy.
Yeah. So that works.
There's no lines, and I can't look at anything else. I gotta look at the fretboard, and there's nothing. It's like looking in the dark, and there's nothing.
Yeah, right.
And I tell you, but I just kept going because that one I'm allowed to play.
Right.
I played, and then I end up talking to my mother. Said, "Please, can you give me $100? I need to buy this bass," because it was $100. It was the cheapest bass, but the other bass they're like $600-700 and all of that stuff.
Do you remember what it was? Do you remember the brand or the model?
Wash Band B20.
Okay.
old, like with the passive, it needs a lot of volume, and so my mother gave me the money and the bass, and then I go back to the township to play with my friends. Then I got kicked out because they said there's something wrong with the sound. And then they look at me, they said, yeah, it's you because your bass doesn't have the line, so the sound is not good.
Oh, they didn't like it. They didn't like the sound. Now, was it in tune? Were you playing it in tune? Or was it just the fretless sound they didn't like?
Out of tune too. I have to look at the singer. The singer is always rubbing the hand, so that's a sign of we
Oh
stop.
yeah.
We go to the bridge. I don't know.
Yeah.
So I the bass, and then I miss the stop.
Struggle's real.
I get kicked out. They told me no, and then they got the bass player with the fretted, and then I said, "Man, this is a problem." But I decided to go to the mountains, to the people in like Lesotho, the traditional people. Everything about them is the traditional except the accordion. But
Okay.
like they take the bottle caps and tie them together like almost like a tambourine, and then put in the skin and just sound.
Yeah.
I took the fretless and I spent time with those people in the mountains in Lesotho. And so I learned the accordion player. He's playing with the left-handed. And there's like nice bass line, and I kind of learned this bass line. Funky, man. I mean, like those people that I played the boy in the bubble on the Graceland, I spent time with them, and then I learned their concept. And I started to listen to the fretless, not trying to change the fretless to sound like a traditional bass, but
Right.
voice thing, it has to go to your ear. What you hear,
Yeah.
What you hear is what you see, like the album cover.
Mm-hmm.
But it was about really listening to the fretless to get that sound, the singing sound. And I knew about also Jaco, that Jaco
Of
was
course.
reading on the weather report, but he was, I mean, like he was deep. He
Yeah.
was deep. That really gave me an idea that this instrument you can use it, but you just gotta understand it. So I use it on the grace.
Yeah. It does. It takes a different approach to play. It's like you can't just pick up a fretless and think going from fretted and think it's going to be cool. And intonation aside, like you have to deal with intonation for the first time going from fretted to fretless. But fretless is a whole different beast. It's a bass, but it's a completely different instrument, kind of. And I think needs to be honored like that.
Yeah, it's very sensitive. You cannot play and have fun and looking at the ladies as you play. Why are you playing now?
Right.
You just look because for me the fretless.
You just got to get aligned fretless for that. That's what you got to do. You get aligned fretless, so you can still look at the ladies.
I have the line fretless. Confuses me like hell. Please don't send me a bass with the lines because now you don't know which one is A and B. It's a bunch of lines.
Right.
Confusing. But the fretless, I mean, like really, you have to have the sound. There's not too many people. I remember one time I was like number 2 best fretless bass player,
Mm-hmm.
one, and then I was number 2, and then but because he was about the right sound on the Graceland and use it the right thing, not just play like the root motion thing, but
Right.
it's a voice.
It is, and that's why I love playing fretless, is because it's closer to a voice, and there's more of a vocal quality to it, and it's easier to express myself on a fretless than it is a fretted.
Your sound, there's a bunch of people played fretless. Alfonso Johnson was another one. I mean, played like an amazing,
Yeah.
the stick, and and he used some pedals, and Jaco, his thing was more like almost like a trombone or something.
Yeah. And I mean, then all the work Pino did on the fretless on all those sessions,
Yeah,
in like the late 80s,
yeah,
90s.
yeah. He had a different approach. It's about really understanding that instrument, and I still play it, but I don't play it live very much because it needs a lot of focus. I like
Mm-hmm.
it because in the studio you can hear it.
Yeah. Now it's interesting to me that your first bass was this Washburn fretless, because that's the bass I always associate with you. I remember seeing you play with Paul Simon when I was young on Saturday Night Live, and I remember you were playing a 5-string fretless. Was that first bass you got a 5-string or a 4-string?
The fretless was my original one I got in South Africa, and then as I'm going on the road, I needed another fretless as a backup.
Okay.
Modulus Graphiles made me a 5-string fretless.
Okay. Okay. So the Washburn was a 4 then.
The Washburn was a 4, and then
Okay.
confusion. I remember one time I thought I was playing F. I played the big C, like
yeah.
because I forgot that I got the low B, and but I was playing F. But no, whoa.
Yeah, that's not it. What'd you think of the modulus? I don't think I did play a modulus fretless. Those were cool, kind of when they came out. They were something new, that graphite neck thing. But I didn't stick with it too long. I don't think I ever decided to get one.
The neck was the graphite, so it's
Yeah.
a brighter tone.
Sure.
And you can sing it with your left hand and get the right thing, unless you just play like big slides, but not like gentle.
Yeah.
Right, or not too much of it. But yeah, it was never right sound. For me, it's either the P bass or that Washburn, because of the wood and the simplicity of it.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of tones, so it takes me a long time to get like stuff going. I look for the tone and still not get it right because of the berries and preamp and everything. But the simple one, it's good.
Yeah. Cool. You also got the Ned Steinberg design back there. How long you been playing that?
The fretless Steinberger.
Yeah.
Yeah, I played it for a little bit, but too I didn't like it because the way the balance.
Yeah. I owned one for a little while, and like it's either on the tripod or you can have like the long end pin, and it never, like, I also play upright, and it wasn't even, I couldn't do it. It didn't feel enough like an upright to me.
Yeah, no, well, the upright ones I like it because really, I know if you've been playing upright for a long time, you like to rest on the body of the
Oh yeah,
shoulder.
when you're going up. Yeah, I know what you're talking about, the upper bout there.
This is like really you still playing the electric. It's got the rest down.
Yeah.
Like an upright. For me, it's about the sound of it, because you can still have that upright sound, or you can have it like a big fretless solo on the upright bass.
Right. I remember when I got. Oh, go ahead. What were you gonna say?
The bass is the fretless and the fretted electric. For me, it's just not comfortable. The
Yeah.
body, or the neck, and it's a headless. A bunch of good problems. And I told him that he said he can't change it because that's but the big bass.
Yeah. Let's talk about your record. I definitely want to talk about this. How many songs are on your new record? The title of the record is What You See.
What is
What you hear is what you see.
and
Title of the record. And this is your 6th record, correct?
I would say 8.
8. Okay.
I mean, we don't count them because it was my basement, and then I was a record company and mixer and mastering and musician,
Yeah.
a few people. But this one, it came in the times where it needed to happen.
Yeah. Okay.
Because we just finished the final tour. We were gonna go back out, go to Europe or some other place, Asia, but then got hit with the pandemic. But in the middle of my tours, I was always writing, take a piece and put it on tape, and then put it away, and then also to look for some inspiration. Like I'm in the city, and 3 days off, I become a person who lives there, because I know so many people, because I've been coming every
Sure.
couple
Sure.
become my family. And then homeless people, and talk to homeless like about the situation, why they're on the street, and and connect. Before I give you my dollar, you need to tell me, why am I giving you my dollar?
Yeah.
You This story just made me a better person because I am a story. I am a living story.
Mm-hmm.
Started very hard as I'm getting up there now. So for me, it's to listen to the other people. That's why what you hear is what you see, because you hear these people and you see them. And my music represent all of that. And then also, when I started to sit down now and put this music after the tour, it was amazing. And the people, all that they play on this record, I just imagined them when I was working on the music and then sending the tape, and then nobody said no. They listened, they played, they gave me the best what I really wanted to hear.
Great. That's great.
Also, too, I wanted to capture the thing not being recorded at home, like because drummers can cheat sometimes. They can use the sequencer and play them, but
Mm-hmm.
they put the microphone and record the drums like the way they send me a bunch of files and we put it together. And everybody wanted to be part of this record. People showed me how much love and how much respect they respect me, and so as I respect them.
That's great, man. It's a fantastic sounding record. It comes out October 22nd, correct? That's when the full record is out.
It's coming out, even though there've been some singles coming out.
Yeah, there's the singles that are out are Happy Village, Electric Flow, and Nice Day. Those are the 3 songs off the record that are already out.
There's booster songs coming up, and it's all about positive message and this also too is to say thank you to the world. Now here's a piece of me because people they dance on my music, my bass playing, so I can showcase what else I can do.
Yeah.
I've done so many things after Graceland, and playing with Irish musicians, playing with Mickey Hart, the Grateful Dead.
Yeah.
Just like, amazing with Derek Trucks,
Yeah.
Tedeschi, just like being educated and just learning. And I'm still doing that. I'm still learning.
That's great, man. That's a great message to be sending with the music and a great approach to have the career you've had and still be open for new information and people and input and all that. I think that's beautiful.
Communicating with some people they see me sometimes, they're like, aren't you that guy? We can say his name. Yeah, one guy at the supermarket. I was at the giant supermarket. Like I'm a regular guy. I got my shouts and my headphones and
Yeah.
it's my bag. He says, I'm gonna call you, call me out, but you the guy play the bass on Call Me Out. I said, yes. And
Yeah.
then no, I live here. My kids they go to school. Yeah, I live here. This is,
Yeah.
And he says, please call me. I want to take bass lessons with you. And then I took the card and because for me it's not about I've seen the world like most people, I've been all over the place and things that I've done that those things they behind me.
Yeah.
Looking, I'm still going forward and I'm still giving to the next generation to say, look, here's another piece of cake. Go. That's for you too. Go show the world what you can do.
Mm-hmm.
Even this. So for me, hey, and Paul is still my friend. I talk to him sometimes, call him, hey Paul, how you doing?
Nice. Nice.
Yeah, that's it. I'm done. But
Do you have some dates lined up for 2022? Are you guys working on getting some more tour dates together for this record?
Dates. I was playing in Los Angeles the last couple of days, like a week last week,
Mm-hmm.
to introduce this music because now dates they're gonna come in and they're gonna take them off the calendar too, like they did with the city wineries, the one in Philadelphia and one in New York. But I'm still searching and also trying to introduce this music, like because it's gonna be a new sound to people's ears.
Yeah.
It's excitement from Paul, but I'm stepping up on my own. It's gonna be a little struggle to get it out there, but it's up to the people when they have a chance to listen to it and tell me they love it. That means a lot to me because I wrote this for me as well.
Yeah.
my life, and I said, hey, people they accepted, you know, the fact that I split two 6 years. I mean, I'm 65 years now.
Mm-hmm.
South African, I spent 2 years and a half here in America, and then in South Africa. So it's a story.
Yeah.
I'm still moving forward because I want to see these kids playing well. And
Cool.
you, let's build the things for the kids.
Mm.
Sometimes bring them to the music stores, and I tell my sponsor this, you crazy. I said, no, you don't understand, because I want them to play music. I don't want them to give up. I want them to tell their mothers and dads,
Yeah.
I want to do this because I can do it. You want to make sure that they love to do this.
Yeah.
All about that, and I just hope people they accept it the good way, and
Man, I don't see why they wouldn't. The record sounds great. The record sounds great. Next time you're in LA, let me know. I'd love to come check it out, obviously. Then I'll probably want a fretless lesson from you while you're in town. Yeah, it'd be great. So definitely let me know when you're in LA again. And thanks so much for doing this, man.
thank you so much. Thank you.
Oh, it was an absolute honor, sir. We'll be in touch.
All right, thanks, man.
All right, thanks, Bakithi. All right. That was my talk with Bakithi Kumalo. If you're enjoying the podcast, please subscribe. You can also find me online at facebook.com/The Bass Shed, Instagram at The Bass Shed, Twitter at Bass Shed. You can always go to www.thebassshed.com for more news. I will be uploading some more transcriptions shortly. I've been working on a bunch. I just got to shoot the video lessons for him, because that's the thing. It's not only the transcription, but I got to dig in there and talk about the relevance of why I chose to transcribe that and what the importance of that transcription is. So there's more things coming down the pike. I don't know. There's more things coming at you from thebassshed.com. Stop by, check it out. Follow me on all the social media stuff, and subscribe to the podcast. Bakithi Kumalo, man, it was great to talk with him. Such a lighthearted, fun interview. Yeah, like that Herbie record that he was talking about. Like, I got to go back and check that out. I don't think I had heard that Herbie record. So I'm really excited to go check that out. I loved his story. I loved his story about the fretless bass. Like, that was just the bass at the guitar store or music shop that they'd let him play because it was inexpensive. And then next thing you know, he's, one of the leading voices on the fretless bass, and that's how it all came to be. I love that story. I love that story a lot. Yeah, that's what I got, folks. Check out Bakithi's new record. What you see is what you hear, and I will catch you on the next one in a minute.